Greetings, you beautiful souls. Welcome to the official Master Force Coach podcast. I'm Mushim Suit, your guide to this transformative journey. At Master Force International, we believe that greatness resides within each and every one of us, waiting to be unleashed. Whether you're a seasoned leader, an aspiring entrepreneur, or simply seeking to elevate your life, this podcast is your sanctuary for inspiration, motivation, and actionable insights. Join us every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern as we dive deep into the art and science of leadership, personal growth, and the power of the human spirit. Each week, we'll explore a new theme, from mastering the art of communication to cultivating resilience in times of adversity. Alongside special guests and Master Force coaches, trailblazers, visionaries, and thought leaders, we'll uncover the secrets to unlocking your spiritual, personal, and professional success. Thank you for being here, and remember, we are ascending. This is one of many honors that we will share with you regarding Timothy Glenn. And I just want to read a few of the comments that people have left speaking of him and his life. Courtney Bates said, "He truly was an amazing person. I'll always be grateful for the magnificent signpost he was for me and so many others. Love and light to all who loved him." Here's another one. "My heart to his family for the loss of this beautiful being." That was from Farasha Ma'at Ra. "Pouring libation, fly high, King. We ask your journey to continue and are grateful for the lessons we gained and will continue to gain as you take flight. May the transition for your family and friends loving you in the ethers be swift." That was from Nin Yusheas Ray. And this is from Kim Taylor. "Oh my God, I dreamed about him 2 nights ago, but I couldn't remember the dream. I've only engaged with Brother Tim during personal readings on Facebook when he's doing monthly readings, so I only observed him from a distance. And from the very beginning of our encounter, I noticed the gentle soul spirit of this young man. He was so peaceful. And in the last 2.5 years or so, I've noticed an immense sense of peace that surpasses all understanding upon him, and I suspected he was nearing his journey home. He left an indelible impression upon many, and he will surely be missed amongst his family, friends, and peers. My prayers go out to the Glenn tribe." That was Kim Taylor. And here's another one. "He was such a great man with powerful strength and energy. He will be missed." That was Tanya Smith. And then from 10 Dr. Tammy, "Sending love and light to all who loved him as I did. My brother will be missed here in this physical realm. Grateful for all he poured into me before his ascension." And then finally, "What an amazing man who really helped me along my journey." That was from Coach Kim Purdue. There's more to come. We're still listening for you, my brother King. Peace.
Yes, it is Mother Mecca again, Mother Mecca 115 with the cosmic weather for the week of April 14th, 2024. Happy Sunday, lovers and lovettes. So let's go ahead and get started with our favorite thing, which is our destiny card for today, it is going to be the amazing 7 of diamonds. So with that 7 of diamonds, we know that sevens, everybody always knows that 7 is a lucky number. So we know that when we think about diamonds, we say, hey, that's the girl's best friend. So we know that has something to do with money. It's easy to put these things together. So spiritual, 7 is also a spiritual number. So that is our spiritual money cards. How attached we are to our money is going to be what's going to happen, right? So, given the opportunity to experience real prosperity, you must show that through gratitude and your attitude, right? So, if you are worrying and being fearful, you're not going to get the full abundance, right? So situations will present themselves to test our faith in the abundance of the universe, because that's where this spiritual money comes from. It doesn't come from us saying, oh, let me work extra hours. Let me do all of these things. When you say, I said the other day, now this is not even leading up on the 14th today, it was last week. I did some transactions and I paid some extra things, and I said, you know what? I said, I'm not gonna worry, because money comes to me easily, it comes to me fast, it comes to me joyfully. I just need that money to last. And when that happened, the next day I got a phone call. Hey, I need you to do this. Can I get a reading? Can this happen? And the money just began to flow. Okay. So the abundance of the universe took care of that. So I released any fear, and I transformed that attachment to personal freedom, knowing that it is not, I have no reason to worry or fret or fear, because spiritually, the universe, this abundance is going to come to me. So don't you worry your pretty little heads, okay? Now, we're going to have the Venus North Node conjunction on April 17th. Now, don't think and just think, oh, nothing's going on between the 14th and the 17th, because remember, we still have Mercury retrograde, and we still have, that was an amazing solar eclipse, right? And that energy from that is still going to flow. So, on the 17th, pay attention. Pay attention to what shows up. We need to start paying more attention to those things that's going on around us. You're going to be at the right place at the right time for a grand new venture or romantic adventure. Now, this Venus and North Node conjunction is going to bring together the energies of love, relationships, and destiny. And furthermore, what's going to happen is, let me go right back, because I'm going to continue. So the North Node is BKA, better known as the Rahu and the Vedic astrology. There's so many different astrologies. You got to look them up, okay? So it represents the path of growth and one's life journey. So there's going to be some things that's going to be going on where you can feel that this growth. Remember, it said pay attention to that. So you want to take notes and you want to do those things so you'll be able to flow right into the journey. Now let's see what's going on with our moon phases, because the moon phase for April 14th is the waxing crescent. Okay, so you can see by my little chart where we were at that new moon. We were at the new moon phase last week. So now we're at this waxing crescent. And that's going to be a breakthrough, because most of the time with the new moon, we set intentions, we do those things and say, we want these things, we want to bring in this newness. So now it's going to be time to have a breakthrough. And the energy is the moon appears as a sliver, indicating the beginning of something new and exciting. So we're going to go ahead on and continue to figure out what's that's doing. How do we get through this breakthrough? What do we need to do? So you got to push through the darkness, move past complacency, because that's what I'm feeling in some of my people and and I tell them, I say, you need to come in and get your energy rubbed, because I need to help you break some of this darkness and all this complacency and these things off of you, which will help you become inspired to take actions and set some more intentions so we can go head on and move through this. Okay. Now that, remember, this is the week of April 14th. It is just not on April 14th. So don't get that confused. Also, what's going to go on and happen is our healthy tip of the week, because we got to get healthy. This is not just about figuring out what's going on cosmically. We still have to balance ourselves with what's going on cosmically. So I think you should eat or drink chaga mushrooms this week. It will be really, really good. You can get you some chaga mushroom tea. It is so awesome. It has a little butterscotch in it. That's going to help. Or any of you eat chaga mushrooms, it's going to help strengthen your immune system, lower your blood sugar and cholesterol levels, and support your digestive health. Also, this is a beautiful thing here. It's going to protect against cancer. Okay. So that's amazing, because we need to do that. We definitely need to do that. Now, remember, I am Mother Mecca. We're not going to talk about my contact information yet, because I always have to give you guys some more inspiration throughout the week. Now, I have my wonderful, again, Kiana said cards. This got me through some dark, because this got me through some dark times. It really helped me get through. And it was so funny. I put the cards in my hands and I was flipping through them. And the first one that fell out, it says, I choose to live a life full of joy and purpose. Because of this, I have to use my rock bottom for what it's for. Spiritual transformation. And didn't it tell you that you need to let go and not have fear of your money situations, because the universe is going to give you personal freedom through this transformation, spiritual transformation. So that 7 of diamonds is going to play itself out throughout the week. You just got to trust it. And guess what? The second card that fell out, it says, I'm so worthy of the best that I won't accept anything less, especially for myself. And that goes along with our week as well. And last but not least, today, I'm me, authentically walking in my power. And I always like to see the word me, because that goes with Mecca Eves. That's my true being and who I am. So how you can contact Mother Mecca 115 is always through text message, 708-253-8795. You can find me on Facebook as the lovely me, Mecca C. Eves, the TikTok Mother Mecca 115. Again, I do readings. I do the Hoodoo Tarot, Destiny readings. Also the Spirit Within. And then you could also drop by my office, which is at 1010 165th Street on April 20th, this Saturday coming up. We will be doing a health and wellness event where you can get naturally high on our products. There are going to be some very good vegan products that you can eat as well as use on the outside of your lovely arms, legs, and feet. And so don't forget, I am Mother Mecca 115 with your weather report for April 14th. I'll see you next time, lovers and lovettes. Have a wonderful week.
Welcome for this week's episode of the Master Force Coaches podcast. We are so excited that you're joining us again for a wonderful version of We Love to Read. I also want to acknowledge the wonderful tribute that was given to Timothy J. Glenn at the beginning of this. We're grateful for his tutelage, and we just wanted to actually acknowledge him as still being part of our village. And also that cosmic weather report with Mother Mecca. I don't know about you all, but it does make a difference for me to know what's happening in the cosmos as I move through the week. So thank you, Mother Mecca. And now, we're actually going to bring on one of my favorite coaches from Puerto Rico. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Puerto Rico, but if you haven't, you really want to go. And I
Yeah.
really want to encourage you to look up Teresa Lugo when you do go, because she is absolutely amazing there. So I'm just going to share the screen. So now this is Teresa Lugo. Teresa, will you please introduce yourself to the audience and let them know why we love you so much and why we absolutely love your Latina spirit that keeps us moving and grooving over here at Master Force?
Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here and speaking with you. I miss you so much. You and I used to talk so much more. And all of a sudden, we just got so busy in our lives. But that's the calling we both have in our lives. But my name is Teresa Lugo. I am one of the executive life coaches for Master Force. I became a coach in 2012, and then I got recertified in 2020 through the pandemic because I felt like I didn't know what was going to happen in our lives. But at that time, I really wanted to be present and strong enough to assist others in any way that I thought that I could. Um, I am originally from Chicago. I am a grandma of three wonderful children, and a mom to two great kids. My daughter Stephanie and my son Destino. And my background is fashion. My passion is fashion. I was a boutique owner for many years in Oak Park, in the suburb of Chicago. And then my father passed. And in that process, I just went through a rebirth. And I had the pleasure of meeting you and also realizing that in the work that I was doing with my clients, I was going to their homes and doing their closets because they wanted me to continue working with them. I wasn't selling their clothes, but I would go to those homes and help them get their wardrobe together. And what I realized was that their physical closet had some connection to their spiritual closet. And I knew then that there was something missing in me to help them or assist them in their evolution. And that's when I met you, and I ended up getting certified as a life coach to be able to do that work. And let me tell you, from then on, my life has been just the best.
And you
Yeah.
have been, yeah, yes, you really have. And it has been so wonderful just watching the evolution, the ascension, the way that you make a difference for other people, how you keep checking in with yourself, saying, okay, what's next? What's next? How can I make a difference for myself and others? You consistently do that, and I think that is just an amazing mark of a great coach. You continue
Thank
to do
you.
work. Yes, yes.
Yes. And so what I learned was too much clutter in your closet means too much clutter in your life.
Yes.
And I think that what happened was I needed to learn. I needed to learn so I could teach my clients what they were actually going through. Had nothing to do with their clothes and their physical things. Because at the end of the day, we're going to leave all this when it's time to go. So that really grew me up, which I really appreciate. I think that that's the lesson of life, even though you may not be prepared to learn certain things. Sometimes God or universe or whatever you call the beautiful source that comes into our lives to take us to a whole nother level of being so that we can be used for the transformation of others. And so today I live in Puerto Rico. I came here to write my book. I went through a time, my father's death, where spirits began to speak to me. I started hearing God so clearly and giving me directions and the name of the book. And you're going to start and finish it in Puerto Rico. And so now I'm in Puerto Rico, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I also started a nonprofit here called Land Heart Project to assist the farmers in getting their farms back, their crops back after disasters, which happens quite often here. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm very, very happy.
That is wonderful. And now, Teresa, you're one of the only coaches that will be actually talking about their own book.
Wow.
Doing this review. How about that?
That's a nice
So
feeling.
tell us, what had you actually, and I know that you were talking about what you went through with your father, but a lot of people have lost their parents and didn't write books, right?
That's
So
correct.
yeah, so what had you actually decide that you needed to write this book, and where did the name Homeless Mind come from?
So when my father passed, um, I went through an experience, a spiritual experience. I was 300 miles away. He was in Chicago and I was in New York. I'm sorry, in Wisconsin. And at that moment, I was actually meditating with two other friends of mine. We just got away for the Labor Day weekend. And as we were breathing in and breathing out, which was my first time ever meditating, I saw this buck, the big deer with the big husk. And in the water, we were at this river sitting on a bench. And I remember freaking out. And my friend told me, continue breathing in, continue breathing out. Don't think about that. It's not going to hurt you. And as I went back into my breath, it was my first time, Moot. My first time going into my breath. Now I'm like a seasoned expert in it, but I never heard of that. I wasn't taught to do that. But anyway, so as I did that, I heard a really strong sound, like a horse, like a neighing, real loud. And when I opened my eyes, I saw the buck was there, but what I heard was what happened. And I heard so clearly Spirit saying, that was your father's last breath. And
Mm.
I was like, what? I got real quiet. I didn't say a word. I was shocked. I was shocked. And I remember my friends saying, oh my God, so how was your experience? I couldn't even talk. They looked at me like I was crazy, but I didn't care. It was a moment just for me to just be still. And when we walked back to the hotel, we got on our bathing suits to go to the pool. And then I got the call. My sister said, you need to get back. Papa's not well. And so that's really the beginning of how I got started writing this book, because the book talks about what happened after that and the journey that I had to take to find the answers as to what was, first of all, I knew God was talking to me, but I had never heard God so audibly. And I knew something in me shifted. I knew that this is going to be the new portal that I'm walking into. I had walked into a whole another way of being, of hearing, of feeling, of connecting to spirit. And it was all due to, which I found out later, a dear friend of mine, Pastor Dorothy, was one that helped me to understand it, that it's in the Bible, that Psalm 42:1 talks about how the deer pants for God, for the loving God. He was ready to go home. My father was the type of person that would ask you after saying hi. He was a beautiful spirit. My father was amazing. And he would say, hey, do you know my friend Jesus? And people are like, what? But he was so cool about it. People were like, well, no, tell me more. And my dad would talk about that. And his leaving really left an impression in me to seek and to find answers. And that's really how the book came about, because I ended up getting my son actually asked me to get some psychiatric help for him. And in the process of that happening, he invited me in the room, and little did I know it was really for me. And he suggested I get a puppy, and I ended up getting a puppy. And I started walking out, taking my puppy for a walk in the morning. And I started hearing more each day. And one of the days I heard homeless mind. And I'm like, what? What's that? And then Spirit said, that's the book you're going to write. And I'm like, what book? Wait. I'm not a writer. Never wrote anything. And then the next thing I heard was, you're going to begin writing it in Puerto Rico and you're going to finish it in Puerto Rico. And I heard nothing else.
Wow.
And so after that, my life just took on its own journey, and I started writing, and it took me 4 years to finally finish the book.
Wow. And then,
Yeah.
so now what was the most challenging part for you? And because you already said that you've never written anything, write a book. What was the most challenging part for you in even beginning to do that?
Well, the interesting part is that although Spirit told me to start journaling and writing, I did a little bit here and there. Like if I was grocery shopping, something, I'll get a download. Right away, I'd get my phone, I'll start writing. And but I wasn't writing, right? And in 2014, I had gotten rid of everything. I lost my stores. I lost my home. I got rid of everything. And you and I embarked on a journey to Puerto Rico. I invited you to come with me because you were writing. And that's what we did in 2014. You and I, on your mother's birthday.
Oh, yeah, it
On your
was my
mother's birthday.
March 10th. Yes.
You and I got on a plane to Puerto Rico. And I remember watching you. You were writing, you were deep into your own thing. And I was, walking around the house trying to figure out what to do with myself. And I remember you telling me, hey, Lugo, if you eat vegan and no meat, I think you would hear more downloads, And I was like, really? And you were like, yeah. And you started to share with me your food. Do you remember that? I didn't even think you even knew the impact you had on me that time.
I don't, but I could, there would be something I would say though.
Oh yeah. And then you gave me some lentils. Remember the tacos? And I'm like, hey, this tastes good.
I felt like we lived off of avocados all the time.
And we sure did. And we sure did, girl. Because then I really started understanding what you were doing. I really started understanding the importance of fasting and setting aside meat. Anything that has a personality that's going to mix with what is supposed to be a pure experience. High nutrition, lots of water, lots of rest. I couldn't even lay in that hammock. It took me a minute to really accept the fact that it's okay to do
Rest.
nothing. Oh my God.
A lot of people are like that, Teresa. A lot of us have been trained to be workaholics.
And feel so guilty when you lay down. It took me almost, I don't know how long for me to lay in that hammock. And I still is. Sometimes I'm at home and I look at the hammock and I'm like, God, I haven't laid down the hammock in about 6 months.
Oh my God. I got on that hammock every day.
I know, the same day. I know it's terrible, but it's giving ourselves permission to be okay and allowing Spirit to speak to us so that we know what our next assignment is, what our next steps are,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing.
So then the biggest challenge for you then was giving yourself permission to actually stop and do, because in order to write, you have to be still. You have to allow yourself to be still enough to get the downloads and to sit and write.
Absolutely. And then then you went back home and I started writing. I got the gist of it. I got the understanding of what really it is to write. And then my mom got ill and I was called to Chicago to care for her the last year of her life. And I did no writing. Spirit said, no writing. You're going to enjoy Mom. And that's exactly what I did. My mom loved to watch her Spanish TV stations, which I hated TV for her, and I loved the time we had together. I did her nails. We just enjoyed each other. And when she passed in 2016, I came back to Puerto Rico and to finish the book. And then I started to go to this woman's house up in the hills of Peñuelas, Puerto Rico, very far up the hill. And people that I would take up there were like, girl, you're crazy to drive up here. It was dangerous, really. It was crazy. But that energy by myself, the fear of being by myself, all that energy, I used it to write. It was really amazing. And then Hurricane Maria happened, and I had to help the people of Puerto Rico. So
I think that's where we took that
down.
picture, isn't it? Up in the mountains, that picture.
Yes, yes.
We took that picture. Yeah.
Yes, right. That's the cover of my book. That's right.
We were up in the mountains with Shalonda and Brian. Yes.
Yeah, oh my God, I forgot about that. I love you guys, man. I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love that house up there too. It was amazing space.
I'm so glad you got there, Mood. I'm so glad that you saw the journey that I was on, and you got to experience that.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you were a big part of my writing. You were a big part of even producing the book. I mean, you've been there through day one. Through day one.
Well, my spirit kept telling me, no matter what Teresa does, don't take it personal. Just keep reminding her to write her book.
Yes, girl. Yes, yes. And you are the example of unconditional love. You really are, Marie. I hope you understand that.
Thank you.
I really, really honor that. I really honor that because I work towards that. When I find myself being that little girl again and pouting in the corner, I'm like, yo, breathe. Allow love back in, And it's not easy. It's not easy. We go through our triggers,
We go, and then, we allow ourselves to stand so hard in our judgment that we don't realize that just standing in judgment stops us from loving. If we could just stop the judgment, we can almost arrive at love immediately. But we'll keep judging and making people wrong about something, and that just takes the love right out. It's just, it's much more simpler than we make it.
Yeah. Judgment kills and destroys. I was asked to speak at a women's conference, and I was asked to step down after they found out I had studied Reiki, which they say was demonic. Oh my gosh. I asked the lady, did you not read the Bible where it says that Jesus said that bigger works will we do, that we can tap into that power that God alone gives us to heal others, to stand in the gap for others, But I had to step back and really step into unconditional love because that was pure judgment.
Yes. And ignorance too, because some people just don't know and they're afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really are. And like I explained to her, it depends on the energy you bring to that. You can be demonic in any situation just by looking at someone.
Oh my goodness. Even just to say that could be a demonic response. Imagine that.
Exactly. But I know who I am, and I know whose I am.
Right. Yes. Now, Teresa, you have shared this book now for a few years. If you had 3 things that people took away and you've heard them say that they've gotten from your book, what would you say those 3 things are that come up in your head for the most part that made a difference for people reading your book?
That's a good one. That is a good one. The one thing that stood out for me, I did a couple roundtable discussions with women. One was my intimate circle. Another one was all different faiths. I got a Buddhist, I got a Catholic, a Christian, Baha'i, a Tao, and they all read it. So one of the one that really stood out for me was my sister, actually, my sister, Elena, who said that she woke up a better parent after reading my book.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that was powerful. I did not expect
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
because my book does have a lot to say about parenting because I went through a lot with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And his school was very, very racist. And they really treated him like crap, and I didn't know. And as much as I told my son, just go to school and do the right thing, just stay focused, He's like, you are not listening to me, Mom. You're not. And I'm like, oh, I'm acting like my mom was. I'm acting like my dad was. I'm acting like they were to me, not listening when I was telling them that my teachers were being a certain way with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I talk about that in the book and the importance of standing with your children,
Mm-hmm.
not by them, not standing, but with them on their same level of what they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And that really blew my mind. My sister said that to me and I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. So that's the one thing that I would say stood out for me. Um, Let me see. I'm sorry, I have to turn on the light. I'm gonna actually read it because it is very profound that someone said here. It says, Homeless Mind is a great book on how traumatic events can leave your mind feeling homeless while seeking a peaceful place to rest your spirit and your soul.
Mm.
Wow. Because that's exactly what was happening. I had to come from this mind that was so full of stories and beliefs and labels that I had heard, that I was taught, and really come from a homeless mind, just releasing all of it so that God could replenish newer things in me. And it was all about the spirit realm. I mean, do you understand? Even the book talks about religion. I talk about religion, my story. It may not be your story, but my Catholic upbringing told me that one day we'll all die. No, one day you will die. And then you go into a rest. And then Jesus comes and he's going to lift us all up at the same time. And then we go to glory. Well, after my experience with my dad, who tapped me on his way out, he's like, this is not true. My dad is with me now more than ever. Spiritually,
Yes.
he's everywhere. He's
Yes.
not sleeping. He's not laying nowhere. And now
Mm.
my mom's passed since then, and the book talks about that, her experience and what I experienced with her when she left. Because when she left, it was intense how she left. And because the reason it was intense was because I was then in the spirit realm and I could see it, I could hear it, I could sense it, I got it. And if you can be there in the spirit realm when someone passes, you are with them as they're leaving. You're floating and you're feeling them, and you can see that they're leaving and they're saying goodbye, and you have to tell them it's okay to let go because they're actually
Yes.
fighting to stay with you.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful experience, and I'm grateful to now be on this level. But I had to release a lot of my Catholic upbringing thoughts, my Christian upbringing thoughts, all those things that were keeping me in a box to just replenish and invigorate myself, right? And learn what it is that God was really saying to me so that I can teach others. I'm now a grief counselor, I speak to women and men that are
You're a deaf
dying.
doula, you're a grief counselor,
Yeah,
exactly, and really helping. We like to support people in being able to connect to their loved ones when they're on the other side, not grieve them, but to connect with them. Yes.
exactly.
Mhm.
And then they get it, they get it that their son is not gone. It's your son is with you. It was his time. He knew before he came on this earth I spoke to a woman, which I still went to this retreat, no matter what they said, I couldn't speak or anything. I still attended because I wanted to show them what unconditional love looks like.
Yeah.
And I did it with such love because it took me a couple of days to forgive. I had to let that go. Like, man, I can't believe I had all this judgment myself. I'm like, oh, really? You're mad at them? They're judging you, but you're judging them. Okay, release that. Go
Yeah.
into your breath and release that. But I had the pleasure of meeting someone there that was that had lost her son, and how when he passed, before he left this earth, he told his schoolmates that he was leaving this earth, and his mother didn't even know. He never told his mom that he was leaving this earth. He already knew that his contract was over. He
Yeah.
knew that he was leaving, and he was 23 years old. He told me there was 1,700 people at his funeral.
Wow. Wow.
He said he had done so much more than I've ever done. I'm still on this earth, and I'm 60 something. She said. I said, wow. I love these conversations.
Mhm.
You know?
Yes, I do know. That's beautiful. And for her to get that and to be able to share with you gave her some space. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Everybody
yes,
can't
yes,
handle conversations like that.
yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful.
I feel great. I feel like I'm walking on air more than I am on earth. And that was my prayer. Always my prayer is, God, make me less flesh and more spirit, so that I can be of service to others. Because when you're in your flesh, that's where jealousy, that's where strife, that's where judgment, that's where all that stuff comes up. When we go in the spirit realm, then God speaks to us. When we go into our breath, we can release what's bothering us, what's actually keeping us tormented,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I would say that in my experience that I shared in working on this book with you, what I was very present to, and most people don't even realize how many of us, we do have mother and father issues. No matter how
Mm.
much we love our parents, they still are not here to give everything to us. We are designed to connect to source energy for our needs and not just our parents. And you do an amazing job in this book demonstrating, and that's how I can see your sister saying that it made her a better parent, because you demonstrated on a couple of different levels, not just with your relationship with your parents, but also your relationship with your children and what you had to do to support yourself going through those issues that you had to resolve for your parents. And then what you learned and had to go through with your children and helping them to resolve that. That was such an amazing journey to work with you through, or to walk with you through, because I wasn't working on that with you. I was walking with you through that. So you want to speak a little bit about that?
I think that when I got on that other side, right, in Landmark, it talks about getting on the other side with a person. There are times when we don't understand what people are going through, even our kids. They're going through something, and we're on this side trying to tell them, don't think like that, don't feel like that, be like this, look away, be the better person, raise up, do. None of that matters. Our children, our young adults have a voice. They have things that they're dealing with. And we're not here to even give them advice, actually. We're actually here to let them know that we hear them, that we are a hearing for them, because that's almost 80% of what the problem is between teens and parents, is the teen doesn't feel heard. They're not asking you to change your way as in your parenting. They're just asking you to please hear them, stand with them, hear them, so that maybe there is an answer that you guys can come up with together. Or maybe the answer is that that child, that young adult just needs to be heard, that wants to release, because it's a very thin line between releasing and going overboard. And that's where the drugs get involved. That's when sex gets involved. That's where anger gets involved. All of those things that we could, as parents, avoid if we're just present to our children. And a lot of us are not, because we're so busy working and, trying to keep a house, keep a car, keep things that honestly, you can't take that with you. You can't take that with you. There's not going to be a U-Haul behind you when it's time to leave. So I talk about that in the book. I talk about that because I, as a parent, had to reach for help to be able to process the old way of thinking that my parents had me believing.
Yes.
And I was giving it to my son. I was giving it to him. Boy, was I giving it to him thick. Look, you are to just behave, go to school, and be quiet. I don't want to hear it. How dare me, girl? When I woke up to what I was doing, ooh. I even, in the book, apologize. I talk about that moment when I apologized, and he said, "It's okay, Mom." And the next morning, I went back in his room with tears in my eyes because I realized what I was doing to that kid, my son. And in later years later, I'm counseling teens with their parents. And I remember one parent firing me because she wanted to control his meetings with me. Poor kid. I remember talking to him through a Zoom, and you could see him looking sideways. And I thought to ask, I said, "Are you okay?" He says, "Yeah, I'm okay." I said, "Okay." And then the next day I get a letter from the parents saying that she just thinks that this is not working out. My children need somebody to hear them. Let that be you, not the drug dealer around the corner.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna find an outlet. You're right about that. If you don't give it to them, they will find it.
Yes.
They will.
Yes. Those are the most pivotal years of these children. It is between 12 and 16. They need you so bad. Those 4 years are the roughest as a parent, but if you just meet them where they're at and take off your parenting hats, because like you said, I think you said that a child at 6 or 7 has already developed the skill.
Well, from the age of birth to 7, they're actually absorbing everything that they see. And then at the age of 7, the reticular activating system clicks in, and now they can actually determine right from wrong. But guess what? They've already absorbed everything that they've seen.
Mm.
Isn't that something? Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Their personality is pretty much formed, but the difference is their brain is still growing. And then at that age of 7, they can determine, oh, well, that's the wrong thing to do, or that's the right. And that's when they become inquisitive and they start asking. That's when a lot of parents be like, "Yeah, I need you to be a baby again because you asking me too much about my business."
And that's why a lot of boys end up getting with girls at a young age having sex, because their mother's not present. So another girl's listening, another female feminine energy is listening, and they feel nurtured,
Yeah.
So it's important. It really is important that we as parents have to realize that our children are really amazing, even though they're confused, but they're amazing in those years that you think that they are actually in their dangerous years. They're really amazing.
So, Teresa, where can people find your book? Where can they engage with you? How do they find you in case they would like to invite you to speak at one of their events, or they want to actually have you come and talk about your book to their group or something?
Absolutely, absolutely. I made it very easy. My website name is my full name. It's teresalugo.com. You go on there, you can leave me a message, and it's without the H. I also have my book on there. You can purchase the book. If you just like to have a conversation, you can click on there make an appointment to just get on a call with me and have a conversation just to process. I know that some people just need somebody to talk to. I'm that ear to hear. And I do have six session coaching for anyone that feels like they want to get on the other side of whatever it is that you're dealing with. If you're going through grief, if you're going through a divorce, if you're going through a great opportunity in business and you just need some classes to empower you, I am that person to walk you through it and learn some new skills that you alone can take on. And my way of teaching is not teaching you, and then you're looking for me for the next class. You actually walk away with tools that you can use that empowers you and brings you to a whole nother level way of thinking and empowering you. So, and I'm grateful to that lady right there in Mushin Suits. I really am. I know I always say that, but I'm a person that really appreciates, where I'm at in my life. And I always give accolades to those, edify those that have taken me there. So thank you.
But thank you. I appreciate you being in my life as well, Teresa. And all the adventures we've had the opportunity to go on. I'm sure they're not done.
Oh my gosh, we have so much more. I'll be 60 this year, so it's
goodness, yes.
It's time to plan something.
Have to plan something. That's right.
Definitely.
Wonderful. And to all of you who have been listening to this podcast today, thank you so much. Please go and buy Teresa's book. Actually, take her on as far as giving her a call. She was very humble about the difference that she makes, but so many people have been touched and inspired just because they could not get over the death of their parents and how they were able to use her book to really work through that. So if that's something you're challenged with, and then also her love for children, for young people, and helping young mothers realize that they are here for the children, not the other way around.
Yes.
And we will be back next week. So look forward to another feature on We Love to Read. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.